Now, let's get to some of his reflections on leadership. Back to the book. Was I a successful leader? They tell me I was, and modesty prevents me from disagreeing with them. I am not so naive that I don't realize the wide appeal of Dick Winters today is based on leadership in combat. I may not have been the best commander, but I always strove to be. My men depended on me to carefully analyze every tactical situation, to maximize the resources that I had at my disposal, to think under pressure, and to lead them by personal example. I think it's interesting even here, he's looking back and he's a humble guy. I may have not been the best combat commander, but I always tried to be. This is a humble man. I am not sure there is such a thing as a natural born leader. Some leaders are born with special aptitudes or talents, but any success I might have had was the product of good upbringing, intense study and preparation, and physical conditioning that set me apart from my peers. Here's Dick Winters. One of the best kind of combat leaders at the tactical level in the modern era. And he's saying that it was preparation and physical conditioning setting him apart from his peers. Back to the book, I was also surrounded by a group of men who were disciplined and highly trained to accomplish any mission. Add luck to the equation and you can understand that the secret to my success was that somehow I always managed to survive another day. In recent years, I've been asked to address an increasing number of civic groups, corporate seminars, and governmental agencies on the subject of leadership. Most are looking for cookie-cutter solutions as to what constitutes a successful leader. What is the recipe for success? And this is classic. And actually, when Leif and I, the book came out, when our book came out, we did a bunch of interviews that got turned into either short articles or video clips, and they title these things, like 3 things every leader must do, and that's what they always do. Everyone's looking exactly for what he says. Most are looking for cookie cutter solutions to what constitutes a successful leader. Mm-hmm. What is the recipe for success? In truth, there are no simple solutions, just as there is no average day in combat. Each situation is different, and each requires a leader to be flexible in adapting his or her particular leadership style to the specific circumstances required to accomplish any mission. It's a matter of adjusting to the individual, and you do this every day. You don't have just one way of treating people. You adjust yourself to whom you are talking. If I were to give advice to a young leader going to war based on my observation of what I had constituted the success of the outstanding leaders who comprised the American Parachute Infantry regiments of World War II, I would offer a series of principles that I am certain would result in great success regardless of the field of endeavor in which the individual was participating. So here he's saying the same thing that I say, which is leadership is the same, whether it's in the battlefield or whatever endeavor you're going into, leadership principles stay the same. First and foremost, a leader should strive to be an individual of flawless character, technical competence, and moral courage. If you have character, that means the guy you are dealing with can trust you. The men trust you, have faith in you, and they obey you, no questions asked. That's character in a nutshell. Character also allows you to make decisions quickly and correctly. Some may question my decision to disobey a direct order from my commanding officer. This is the story we already talked about. And to fake another patrol as a violation of that very principle I'm advocating. In my heart, however, I could not send my men to risk their lives for no apparent reason, when clearly nothing would have been gained that we had not already achieved. Such a course takes a degree of moral courage, which I have found is far rarer than physical courage. Was I correct? In my estimation, I thought so, and I have never regretted my decision. The same holds true for developing leaders of competency. Those entrusted to lead must study their profession to become totally proficient in tactics and technology. Prior to the invasion, I read every tactical manual I could lay my hands on to improve my tactical knowledge and professional competence, while other soldiers were out carousing in the pubs. While they were enjoying the social life of the neighboring towns, I was reading and educating myself, getting ready to lead men into combat. Getting smarter. Opening up the books. That's what he was doing. And that's part of leadership. That's part of his characteristics of leadership, is to become knowledgeable, to read and study. He goes on, don't waste time attempting to define leadership. No need to go to a dictionary. The infantry school at Fort Benning, Georgia, has defined leadership in just 2 words via its motto, follow me. And he's going to do it again right here. Physical fitness is another prerequisite for success. I freely admit that I was blessed with a sound physical constitution, but whenever possible, I took the opportunity to improve my physical stamina. Because I was in such good physical shape, I easily survived TACOA. That's their initial training that they went through for airborne. While men washed out on a daily basis, the contingent from Easy Company that completed the training and earned their wings at Fort Benning were tough as nails. Because I was in such good shape, my fatigue level never reached the point of physical exhaustion that contributes to mental exhaustion and ultimately to combat fatigue. We all experience sleep deprivation at times. That is the nature of stress. But a physically exhausted leader routinely makes poor decisions in times of crisis. And here he talks about another piece. I have always felt that my principal contribution to the success of both Easy Company and 2nd Battalion was based on my knowledge of what to expect from each man. Know your people. Having selected the right men for the right job, I then delegated the authority to my subordinates and allowed them to use their initiative to execute the mission. Decentralized command. There is no need to tell someone how to do his job if you have properly trained your team. Good preparation is always vital to the success of any operation, but leaders must remain flexible once the action commences. Steve Ambrose likes to quote General Eisenhower, who claimed, "Before the battle is joined, plans are everything. Once the battle is joined, however, plans go out the window." Next, I would encourage leaders to take a moment of self-reflection before rushing into important decisions. This is a little bit of detachment. Many leaders don't take the time to consider carefully their decisions or the implications of their actions. In battle, I periodically detached myself mentally from the noises and the chaos of battle. I found it useful to separate myself momentarily and to carefully think through what actions I needed to take to accomplish the mission. Again, I read this book for the first time last week.
He's saying detachment straight up.
He's saying the exact same. In battle, I periodically detached myself mentally from the noises and chaos of battle. Mm-hmm. Hang tough. Never, ever give up, regardless of the adversity. If you are a leader, a fellow who other fellows look to, you have got to keep going. I would also urge leaders to remain humble. If you don't worry about who gets the credit, you get a lot more done. Again, this is when people ask me what's the most important quality of a leader, I tell them it's humility. Leaders should assume the blame when the operation fails. When it succeeds, credit the men and women in your team. They do the lion's share of the work.